Okay, here's part 3 of my Sorcerer's Apprentice review. Sorry if I'm feeling a little stuffy today. I don't know, I'm getting a very light cold, so I probably sound a little bit more nasally than I usually do. Uh, just did a quick rehear the previous parts to make sure they're recorded, and I do sound a little off today. And of course, before I get further into the review, yes, I know about the breathing. It's my microphone. I really don't have that heavy of a breath all the time. It's just a way too sensitive of a microphone for doing proper reviews. I would try to either get there's software that'll filter it out, or you can get a better mic. I'm just not investing the money in it at this time, so sorry if you hear the breath. It's not that I'm one of those. I've talked 5 words. I can't talk anymore. No, it's the mic is just super sensitive. You probably have heard me hitting keys occasionally too, and it's not like I'm sitting right over the keyboard. I'm actually laid back in my chair, and the keyboard's like maximum arm length, giving you an idea. It's a sensitive mic. But getting back to the main plot, 10 years later, the jar spits them out, and because he lost one of his book reports, which I don't know why you had a book report sitting in your backpack, got sucked in there with him, so Horvath knows exactly who he's looking for. And there's magic spells that let them track down people. Balthazar also gets out. He finds Dave first. Shows them the big giant flying eagle. Did he find? Wait, I'm trying to remember if he found Dave first. No, he did not find Dave first. He found him second. He saved him. He does that, and he kind of convinces him to take him under the wing. And we're basically into the main gist of the plot. I don't feel like I have to go over every detail, because it was generally just a fun movie, and most people are either planning on watching this film, and therefore there's no point in ruining every single scene for them. I should just point out I'll give a basic overview, I will. Or people that have seen every scene, and if it's a scene that works, it functions, and doesn't need any referencing, I think people that have already seen this movie don't bother with it, or don't really care. But he gets him, takes him in the wing, kind of starts slowly revealing the overall plot of the movie, which is he's the chosen one. Of course he is, because the chosen one's always the nerdy kid. That is another thing we've seen with Hollywood, is the nerds will always get the hot chick. Here's the thing, though. It is becoming more true from my own observations. But it's not that the nerds are getting the classic hot chick, it's the people that are the classic hot chicks are becoming more nerdy themselves. They're more into the movies, comic books, video games, so that the brute, old classic jock model is no longer as appealing to them. Back in the days when they could, if you were a hot girl, you had to be a cheerleader and only a cheerleader. Even though that probably never really existed as the stereotype. But that's the other new trend in Hollywood. Although I think it's not that new of a trend. I think it's been happening for a while now in Hollywood, but I digress again. So he takes him under. Not Balthazar. Horvath goes looking for he goes looking for an army, so he finds this one guy who I guess he kind of knows. Tells him about he has one guy he knows about. And he goes, okay, one guy will do. I was looking for an army. Well, I know one person. That'll do. Normally an army is more than one person, but okay. Find some guy that apparently never got his full training complete, but took on his own and basically became like a Chris Angel type of a guy. An extreme magician. Doing cheap parlor tricks, but he still has the full powering. Because Dave is not fully trained yet, he is more dangerous than Dave. But he's nowhere near Balthazar or Horvath. So he has him come along, and he basically just messes up stuff or is used for menial tasks. But he's kind of a fun character to follow around, and kind of see, oh, we know who he's making fun of. Like I said, the movie had good humor. He also finds the girl that he had tried to go out with back in the first scene. He's one of her classes. She's really, like, I would say almost like obsessed with music. Starts doing stuff to get on her. Nicolas Cage, conflict because of what happened to him. As you can see, I'm speeding through it. But they eventually reveal that Horvath wants to get the jar, unleash all the wizards, unleash Morgoth, or Morgana, and then she will raise an army of undead wizards, or sorcerers, whichever this movie wants to call them. And then they will take over the world! And I don't have the sound clip for M. Bison, so we'll have to go without that. I have to get that sound clip though. Wait, water. Sorry about that. So they go, as he is starting to impress this girl, he uses, the Fantasia scene. He goes through training, basically leading up to this. Here is one problem with, there is this one character that is a complete waste of a character. Before they get to Morgana, well, they've released a China in the second major action scene in the movie. They wound up releasing a Chinese sorcerer who, is the classic Asian stereotype of evil. But I haven't heard any groups complain about this one, so I don't know. Maybe the Chinese are just a lot more chill than everyone else. Anyway, and after them is one of the girls from the Salem witch trials. She's in there for one scene, and then Horvath, who already sucked the David Blaine guy, or whatever magician I just said, he already sucked his energy, so he can use it to release her, and then he kind of unleashes this little pilgrim child who goes and kidnaps Dave's girlfriend, takes her back, and then sucks her in. There's no establishment for her. We don't learn anything really about her. She's kind of just used. It seems to me that they should have just had cut her out of the film and just used the David Blaine guy to go and kidnap the daughter and then suck the energy. It didn't seem to make any sense. It made a little sense that it was more than just three people in the little babushkin dolls, or whatever they're called. But still, it just seems like a really wasted character. There should have been at least one or two other scenes with her before she was sucked into the cane of power. And anyway, so Balthazar and Dave go to this secret hideout, because if you're a villain, you have to have a secret hideout. They do the classic, Balthazar's got caught in a trap. He eventually escapes, but during that time, Horvath uses Dave's girlfriend as an excuse for Dave to give up his ring, because all the magicians, their power is channeled through special magic rings that allows them to channel their thoughts into the physical world. But because Dave's the chosen one, it's said that he will be able to not have to use a ring. But he gives up his ring and the final babushka doll, and Horvath runs off to prepare the most evil place he can think of, Wall Street. Yeah, he goes to Battery Park where they have the giant a bull that's supposed to be for the bull market. And I'm going to pick up the conclusion of both the review and the film in the fourth part.